Hello, everybody. Hey, it is me, Christina Taylor, coming to you today with, I'm coming to you from North Canton, Ohio, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, which if most of you that are watching this video, you would know that anyway, because you're part of the In Color Club. So, let me, let me just check my volume here. So today I'm coming to you with a video. This is for your July color, which is Secret C. That's the one we're going to focus on. And these are the two projects that we're going to do. I've got a little bit of the designer series paper out today in our markers and the blends. The blends was an option. So if you're doing the basic club, you'll have all the other traditional supplies that we've been using. But some of you opted with the blends, and so you've got those as well. So on today's projects, we're not going to use the designer series paper, but I did put it out there, which you do already have a selection of the other colors, and you get these great 4 patterns, and they're very easy to work with. You can always take the ideas that I've shown you on the other projects and implement and put a different color into them. So all these cards that we're doing can very easily be adapted to use any of the other colors and multiple colors. As you can see here, I've used a little bit of the cloud cover on this one, which I'll be showing you in just a little bit. So let me get these out of the way and we will go ahead and get started stamping. Okay. So we're going to start with this one first. And in your supplies, with your kit that you'll have in your in color bundle, you are going to, let's see, I don't think you need to cut anything for this one. This one's already ready for you. So because my Secret C two-tone cardstock, I was limited in what I had left because I had used it for a class. You do have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of one of your 12 by 12 sheets cut out of your supply. So that is what you're using, so that I could go ahead and emboss it for you. So that's in your kit. So the other supplies that you're using, let me share that with you. So you've got your envelope, of course. Then you've got a piece of basic white cardstock that's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Again, you've got a piece of the two-tone cardstock. So here you can see the 2 different colors, the 2 tones of the Secret C. And that is cut 4 by 5 1/4. Then you've got 2 pieces of the, I think it's the white linen, 1/2 inch ribbon, and this is part of the Everyday Arches suite of products. I believe it's an online exclusive, but it's a nice ribbon. It ties really nicely, lays flat, so you don't get a lot of bulk to your project. So you've got 2 pieces in there. You've got one that's 5 1/4, and then you've got one that's 3 1/2. So we're going to use one to wrap around the back side, and then another one to do our faux knot, which I'll share with you. You also have in your kit a Secret C label and then an outline of like a frame that's done in the basic white. And I'll show you how to put those together. So those are the supplies within your kit. Let me set this just aside here. So as I mentioned, we're using the white linen thread. This is part of the Everyday Arches suite. This is an online exclusive. And then we're using the white crafting. The embossing folder that I'm using is the Pressed Flowers embossing folder, and that is part of an online exclusive that was just released in July. So that's currently available. Makes this beautiful, just really delicate, soft floral design. And then the stamp set that I grabbed was Loveliest Tree. This also has a set of dies to go along with it, but I grabbed this because this card seemed very soothing to me, and I wanted to create it as a sympathy card. So I've selected this greeting out of here. Then the die set that we're using is Unbounded Love dies. As you can see, I have a lot of extras just kind of cut in here. Even the label that I die cut out for you, I've got the little Secret C frames in here because I'll probably use them on something else, just as I have the inside of uh, this piece of the white. I'll have those for something else. So let me explain to you how this die works. So let me share with you this. So there's a bunch of labels in here, labels and frames, and then little delicate die cut pieces, whether they offer like a leaf piece or like little flower stems. So quite a nice variety of frames and die cuts in here. So this particular frame, actually, yes, yeah, that one. I want to make sure we're choosing the right one. So this one, when you die cut it, so I'm going to try to like set this in place here. When you die cut it, you get that piece, which is the Secret C. And then you also get this frame. Okay. So I don't know if you can kind of see that there. So obviously when I die cut these, I did them all in Secret C once, and then I did the white ones because I wanted to get that two-tone to be able to offset it and focus on a frame around it. So, but you get that every time you run the die through. So it's kind of just a nice little added bonus, and it allows you to give your projects like different tones and colors there, which is why I have the frames in the Secret C and the bold like labels in the white that I cut out to get these little frames. So hopefully that makes sense to you. This is a great die set, gives you a lot of variety to be able to add different die cuts to your projects. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to take that sending heartfelt sympathy out of there and get a block. And we're going to go ahead and stamp this in the white craft pad because this will take just a little bit longer to dry. And I'm going to tap it around because we used this at my last class, and you know what? I did not re-ink it. So we'll hope that it is ready to go. Yeah, that's stamped nicely. So I'm just going to set this aside to dry. It's going to take a little bit longer because it's a white crafting. That's all the stamping we're doing with the white crafting. So I'm going to get my stamp cleaned off. And I'll just go ahead and put that back in the case. Okay. And then I'm going to start by folding my card base in half. It is a beautiful day today outside. I am actually, after I'm done shooting this video, I'm going to go for a walk. It is so pretty out there, and I just feel like I should take advantage of it. The temperatures have dropped a little bit, so it's not quite as sweltering as it has been. Okay. So on this part, the two-tone cardstock, let me grab a piece of just scrap paper. This is just a leftover flyer from our virtual album retreat that Stampin' Up had. That was an option. It was all weekend scrapbooking event, and you could do a layout for an entire 12-month year. And there was all kinds of goodies included in that too. So you probably saw something on my email about it. Let me move those supplies out. So because this is our two tones cardstock and I have embossed it for you, as you can see, and some of the white has started to crack through here when that embossing was done. Now, everyone that is in the club that I know has a sanding block from our last class. So you'll want to get your sanding block out because I did not sand this for you. This is our old like Stampin' Up sanding block that we used to have. So you might even still have one of these around. But for just demonstration purposes, I'll go ahead and use the one that we had in class last month that everybody got one. So what you're going to do is just take your sanding block and you're just going to rub that right across the design. And because this is a delicate design, I'm just kind of holding my hand in place as I go over that and expose that white core and get that design to pop a little bit more. Okay. So, and instead of going back and forth, I'm just going to run it in one direction and kind of pull that off. Oh, see? Yeah, look what I just did. So I tore it a little bit there. So I'll just layer that over and it'll be fine. But because you've embossed it and you are sanding it, it will, it can pull your paper. Now on my example here, you're going to notice, see how this is a little lighter than what this is? I went ahead and sanded just the flat cardstock itself. And this one this sanding block may have gotten just a little bit too much love at class because it's not sanding as much as I want to take off of there. So I'm going to grab my other one. We're going to see if I can recreate what I did in my example. So you can see I'm just taking off the top of that cardstock color and it's lightening it a bit. You don't have to do this. I mean, if you want to, you can. I just wanted to kind of create that distressed look on here. Obviously, I don't want to get too aggressive. I don't want to tear my paper. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to take that sanding block out of the way. I'm just going to flick that off. This is going to have all kinds of like cardstock paper dust. I'm just going to discard this and recycle it. And go ahead and just clean my space off. Okay, so I've been able to lighten that up a little bit, give it some texture. So right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take my ribbon, my linen ribbon, and for me, I'm just going to go ahead and use a couple pieces of Scotch tape on that. So I'm going to put it in place where I'd like it, flip it over. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with this other one, slide it under, and this will give us a faux knot. I started doing this at class because a lot of the ladies share with me that this is much easier for them to tie ribbon around their cardstock instead of trying to manage the ribbon around the entire card. So if it works better for them, that's what I want to do. So if you were at class and you have feedback on it, always give that feedback to me. I want to hear things, whether you like something or didn't like something. I want to know that too, because I always want to improve on what I'm offering you as far as with classes too. So we've got that knot tied on there, so it looks like we're wrapping it around that card. Let me put this on our card front. Get some tape here. And because for me, because this is like a little more delicate because we have sanded it, we've embossed it and all the things, I'm going to put my adhesive right on my card base so I can just fasten it down. So many of you know my daughter, Cecily, and she has been busy working with the Hall of Fame fashion show, and that is today. And she said it was very successful. They had a very great response. Um, but she is tired. It's a lot of work for a volunteer. She puts a lot of time into that with meeting with people with the Canton Civic Center and the Chamber and the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. And then she has to coordinate with the models and all the vendors that they work with. So I just got a text from her saying that she was done for the day and she is going to put her feet up. And she mentioned maybe even sit by the pool. So I'm excited for her. She deserves to put her feet up and rest. So I've got this label ready to go. And I'll put some dimensionals on that. And then my son Ethan is in Michigan right now. He went into work a couple weeks ago and they needed him to go to Michigan to correct some things that were done incorrectly for the welding. And this is at a different part, like a sister company, I guess. So he's been in Michigan the last couple weeks, and he found out this weekend that he's going to have to be there another week longer. So but he's having a beautiful time. He's like, I cannot think of the name of the town that he's in. It's something with a K. It's in the northern part of Michigan, up by like where the lakes come together, like Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and all that. I don't know the other one, but anyway, it's like Michigan's right here, then the lake, and then there's Canada. So he's like right up there. But he's sending us beautiful pictures of where he's at and the boats coming in and all that kind of thing. So, all right. So for me, when I'm going to go put on this frame, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to take and take a very fine line of glue around the outside of this frame. That way, I've got the glue down in place there, but I'm not going to have it all over my fingers. So you do what works for you on that, but by doing it this way and with the dimensional being there, I'm going to take my frame and just put that right over my label, and it will pop down because this was like one label, they came out of the same die cut, so they fit nicely. Pop that down and put that frame around that. And it just offsets that, makes that greeting pop. It looks like there's a full layer under there when in reality, it's just a frame from the die. So that does all the work to it. Now, on your envelope, you could stamp something on the envelope. You could actually even emboss it with the embossing folder to get that texture there too, much like we did in the embossing class in July. I know many of you took that class, so you could do that same thing with this project. But this is our first one. And let me just move this aside. And I'm going to grab the supplies for the other one. Let me just clear off this stuff. Ugh. All right, we're coming in with some additional supplies. And this is the project we're going to create here on this one. So we're using some stitch die cut circles. We're using the Extraordinary Flora stamp set and die, which I'll share with you in just a little bit. We're going to do some color blending, whether it is with your blends, if you have them, or the markers. Everyone has the markers. You can color and accomplish the same look. We've got some embossing. And then we've taken some of those die cuts and put them on the inside of our project as well. Okay, so let me put this over here to the side. Okay. All right, so we are using the Secret Sea ink pad. We're also using Memento Black. This is the stamp set that I'm using to get our die cut flowers. It's called Extraordinary Flora. And it has a couple sentiments with to the extraordinary couple, congratulations with love. So kind of like a wedding feel to it. And you get this fun little texture line stamp. And it comes with, well, it comes with a die that I've got these little pieces already dyed. They're already stuck to the die. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but it does come with a die that die cuts all these flowers out at one time. And this is the stamp that so it's a polymer stamp. It's all one stamp, and you can then die cut all the flowers out. So we're going to circle back to that one. We're using the stylish stitch shape. So we've got circles, squares, and pennants in here. And I used for this project, I used these two sizes. So I believe it's like the third one from the smallest, the third and the fourth one from going from the smallest. Okay. So I'll set those aside. And then we've got the birchwood embossing folder. So that is what your piece of cardstock has been embossed with. And I've gone ahead and pre-done that. So this folder, because it is one of our larger folders, you can actually put you can put a whole half sheet of cardstock in there. You can do 2 half sheets, multiple ones, but you can fit quite a few on here. And when you're embossing with this, you want to use the gray specialty plate, which is for our 3D embossing folders. So we're using that. And then for our sentiments, I have pulled out the Fancy Borders stamp set. We've used this in class before. I love this image for your envelopes and for on the projects as well. And then these great little pieces to kind of add to it. And you've got some sentiments in here. I've chose to use the Scent with Love and Just Because, which I need to grab those out of here and put them on a block so we can actually stamp with them. Okay. All right. So, and that's a photopolymer stamp that you can see. And then, as I mentioned before, so you can either use your Stampin' Write markers because you have a brush tip with your Stampin' Write marker. And then you also have a bullet end tip that gives you like a little more fine detail if you need to kind of get in there on something that you're coloring. But you can also use your blends. So if you've taken the option of getting blends with them, you'll have those. The blends are great for larger flowers too, because then you can really take advantage of that light and dark tone and get that depth to your images. So for this one, the markers will be just fine to color in. Okay. Now your supplies that you have in front of you, let's see. So you have got your basic white envelope. And then you're going to need to cut a piece of your Secret C cardstock, and you're going to need to cut that at 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, that'll be your card base. Then you will have a piece of 4 by 5 cardstock in your kit. That's for the inside of your envelope or inside of your card. And then you're going to have an embossed piece that is 3 3/4 by 5. You're also going to have a die cut Secret C circle and a die cut basic white circle. Okay. So to start this project, what I have done, and I have gone ahead and prepped this because then you don't have to watch me color. Okay, so what I did was I inked this stamp up with Memento ink because I wasn't sure if I was going to color with blends or with the markers. And the Memento ink works really well with the blends because they are alcohol based and this ink pad works well with it. Plus, I really do like the Memento ink as far as stamping with black when I need a crisp black. So I inked that all up and then I went ahead and stamped it on a quarter sheet of cardstock and I colored them in. Now, when I was coloring them in, so let me set this aside since we're kind of done with that one. When I was coloring them in, I wasn't really worried about the lines or like coloring the whole thing in. There might be some gaps of white, like within the coloring. I was okay with that. I just wanted to add a pop of color there. So, you know, it's totally your preference as far as what you like to do. But so I've gone ahead and colored all those. Then I went and after coloring them, then I put the die on there. It's one piece of die. Look, you could there. I'm using the back of a piece that that I just did this on mine. I wouldn't do this on anything for all of you. But it was a thank you card, and I got a little line mark when I'm stamping it. I was like, okay, I can't use that, but I can use it for little die cuts. So anyway, I'm gonna take this scrap piece off. So there's all the what we're gonna discard. And these dies will just pop right out of here. So this is great because this die cuts all these at the same time. And it also works with the washi tape that we have. So this washi tape, and I really should have done one of these for the video, and I didn't think to do that. But this washi tape is, let me get it started here so you can kind of see. If I had a sheet of, I don't have a sheet of white cardstock candy here. So you can see there the lip of it. It's a wide washi tape, and it is meant for you to pull the entire thing out. You put it on a quarter sheet of cardstock. Then you take that die and it cuts it out. It's the coolest thing. We're going to use this at a class coming up. I think you're going to really have a lot of fun with this. And there's two different panels of flowers that are in here with the colors. So you get a variety of different ones. But yeah, so we'll circle back on this. I'm sure this is going to be on my next video here, but for a while that was sold out and unavailable, but it's currently back in stock. So that's a win for everybody. Okay, let me take out my notes for my measurements that I needed to give you and put those aside. All right, so we have gone ahead and like I said, I've done the embossing for you. So we're going to go ahead and start some stamping here. We'll start by folding our cardstock in half. And I'm going to grab my bone folder. All right, and then we've got our inside layer, and I'm just going to use some Tombow adhesive for this. Yeah, so I haven't seen my son in weeks. Normally we'll see him every now and then, but I haven't seen him in weeks because he's, nowhere to be found in the state of Ohio anyway. But he's busy. I mean, he really is, he really does a good job at what he does. And I'm trying to see which side I'm going to use this side. Um, and he's having a really great time up there, although he is working every day. So that's even the weekend. So that's quite a bit, but he's young. So okay, that's what you should be doing, I suppose. Okay, let's open up our ink pad here. And stamp the Scent with Love. And I'm going to stamp that towards the top. The Secret Sea is such a beautiful blue color. It's so deep. It's like, and if you compare it to like Night and Navy, it is completely different. So I think all of you will really be excited to kind of use this with your stamping. It's a great color. And in addition to the colors we already have. Okay, so I've got Scent with Love just because, and I think, well, let me grab, I'm gonna grab this little leaf stamp out of here and use that. I need a little bit bigger. This might be nice for on an envelope. So ink that. That's just coming out of the Fancy Borders die stamp set. It does have a die set that goes along with it. We're just not using that today. Okay. Back in there. All right, so we're done stamping. I'm going to close this ink. I've already used that Memento black, so we're done with that. Layer this on our circle. And I want to put some dimensionals on here. I thought I had some out, but I don't know what I did with them. Just grab another sheet. Okay. I hope all of you are enjoying this the weather that we're having. That summer, the weather we were having, the intense heat, was kind of sweltering. It was getting to be like too much. I mean, I love summer and all, but that was a lot. Okay, so you've got all these pieces parts, all these little stems to kind of choose from. So you can do any configuration you want to create your blossoms, kind of like a decorative piece on that die cut label. I'm going to use this one, and you know what? I'm going to put dimensional right there. So I'm putting one dimensional on it, and then I'm putting glue on it because it's going to kind of sit off the side. So I want to be able to support that. So I just put a little glue on it here and then a dimensional under this. And I'll probably do the same with these. Let me look at this. What do we have here? I'm going to take this one. And so I'm going to use this one, and we'll use bigger flower. Okay. So I'm going to use dimensionals again on this because this is going to hang over a little bit, but also use some glue. Okay, put that piece on, then we'll do this one. I just need a little piece of a dimensional. My minis aren't here, so let me just cut off some ends. Let's see. It's so that down, and then we'll come in with the flower. And again, you can design however you want. Ah, that one down there. Okay. So I've got my front pieces on there. And now I want to add a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to use these two because they'll be nice for the. Okay, I'm going to put that one there. And then this one right here. Just kind of taking those elements on the inside of your card. You could even do one right there. Let's just put one right there. Yeah, that really just, you have so many to choose from that you can design it, lay it out however you want, um, with these little blossoms and stems and greenery pieces and stuff. And, because it's stamping, it doesn't have to be green. We can, as I've stamped it, in blues. So here is our second project. Let me take these things aside here and bring our other one back. I don't know what I did with the envelope, but here we go. Okay. Okay, so there's our two projects. This is featuring the Secret Sea ink color, or in color, I guess I should say. And you'll have that in your gems, your ribbon, the ink pad, the Stampin' Right marker, the two-tone cardstock, the regular cardstock, and the designer series paper. You're going to have a selection of everything. So you can so at this point you have 3 colors in your in color club. And so you could take those colors and create these projects in other colors as well, and you can mix and match. So I hope this gives you some great ideas on things to do with your in colors, and that the feedback that I'm getting from the ladies of you that are in there are really loving the bundles, which I'm so excited about that. It's encouraging you to create with the colors, which that's exactly what the In Color Club is all about. It's like so many of us, we do have stamps, we do have punches, dies, all the things. But an introduction of a new color just, adds a whole bunch of creativity to your stamping possibilities. So yeah. All right, well, I am going to let you go for today. I'm so glad that you joined me for this video. I hope you got some creative inspiration. Remember to like the video, and you can comment in there if there's something that you want to see when I'm doing the in-color projects. I'm happy to kind of listen to that feedback too. So, all right, until next time, happy stamping, ladies.